Hello, are you hearing me? Radio 419, broadcasting on 419 megahertz. Many viewers have expressed interest to find out how does Radio 419 know so much about the underground, highly secretive crime world. And today I will reveal to you some of my VPN techniques. In this video, we are remotely watching and monitoring drug dealing in Soi Nana, Bangkok. And it so happens that as we are monitoring the drug dealing, we see a police raid going on. What is interesting about this police raid is the police are being led into a drug den by two famous Nigerian drug dealers, or perhaps I should say infamous Nigerian drug dealers. Yes, so here we can see on the CCTV they have rushed into a bar which is in a sub-Soi of Nana, also known as Soi Africa or Soi Nigeria. Sometimes it is known as Black Soi, or it is known as Little Lagos. The Thai people call it the Soi with two white horses in front of it. Yes, we have plainclothes police officers entering the drug den, and there is a plainclothes officer with a motorbike helmet in a yellow t-shirt. What else do we see? People running back and forth, a lot of chaos. Aha! The man that just nipped out there in a check shirt and wearing a cap. That was the famous Kabanka Kartel, a big Nigerian drug dealer. And I bet you can guess why he was called Kabanka Kartel. Yes, he was moving drugs in containers. And at the same time, there he is, there's Kabanka Kartel in his cap, standing there with Kabanka. Kabanka's wearing the white cap, there's Kabanka again in a red cap. Yes. So, as moved containerfuls of drugs, they sent Thai women and poor Africans into Bangkok airport to be arrested with just measly amounts, hardly ever more than 4 kilos of cocaine, whilst they get 400 kilos or more coming through in engine parts, or having methamphetamine dyed purple and calling it amethyst and sending it as gems for the gem district in Bangkok. Yes, a lot of purple ice coming in the market at that time. Anyway, let's keep on watching. We have access to many cameras via the VPN, which I'm sure you understand in law enforcement. Yeah, they're running back and forth there. Yes, this is where a lot of the drugs were kept for distribution to the tourists, being delivered around the Nana area, often stored in this place, to the frustration of the police officers. Yes, all of them in plain clothes. Anyway, if you keep watching, our cameras on the VPN will take you deeper and deeper into this drug dealing bust, where this chap, you see, let's see, yes, in the white t-shirt, white shorts, puffing on a cigarette there, that is Kabanka. Kabanka is the rapping drug dealer that would plant drugs on other Nigerians to use them as human sacrifices to metropolitan police, to make the police believe that they were suppressing the Anamco drug dealing cartel. Many of those Nigerians that were arrested were part of a human trafficking operation that brought them to Bangkok and used them as stooges and a smokescreen to prevent the police from seeing the real mass consignments of drugs that were being moved. There's Kabanka coming out there, yes, running in and out as he orchestrates his setup. Now, above this bar, yes, there's Kabanka, the cigarette there, yes, having a little puffy wuffy. Yes, he's taken out a camera there, it seems. He's looking at it. Yes, he's taking pictures as evidence. So, and he's also the person that plants the drugs. There we can see they're bringing Nigerians out in handcuffs, loading them up into the paddy wagon there, more and more. So, let's see, more and more. Wow. Wow, look, it's amazing. In a tiny little bar. If you were to count the number of drug dealers, it's absolutely mind-boggling. But these drug dealers are just little boys that are selling like half-gram packages, 1-gram packages. Largely a French clientele, followed by German and then British. And then Thais wanting the cocaine and medicinal marijuana. And there's Kabanka in his cap. Yes. Kabanka is from a rival drug gang. And it's also a drug gang that needs to make regular human sacrifices. So there he is, you see, on the telephone, walking around. Yes, probably calling Kudos, telling him, yes, yes, setting them up, yes, yes, taking them all down the station, having them all arrested. Yes, there we go. In the end, Kabanka himself was set up with drugs in Pratunam. Yes, near the restaurant of the infamous 1010, who apparently is out on bail at the moment. There's Kabanka bringing them out. Anyway, when Kabanka went into prison, he met some of the boys that he had sent into prison. And so they plucked out one of his eyeballs. So now we call him One-Eyed Kabanka. Yes. Some people call him Kabanka the Wanker. Yes, very strange chap. Anyway, here we have more VPN action as we hack into a CCTV outside the bar. Aha. So we see a van coming in, a pickup truck with a red flashing light. The red flashing light's been removed and put inside the truck. So, I wonder how many drug dealers will fit into that truck. Doesn't look particularly large. So let's see. There, they've packed some in there. Yes, they're going back into the drug den to get more. There's Kabanka with his black backpack. Yes, there's a plainclothes officer in a grey t-shirt. He seems to be overseeing the operation as they pack the dealers into the back there. They've already packed several in there. Whoops, there's a few more. Wow. And a few more. Wow. And even more and more. Oh, they really can pack them in there. Yes. So it also seems like it's perhaps raining on this faithful night. There's a tuk-tuk came in. Yes, what's the tuk-tuk for? Looks like it's just for regular folks leaving anyway. We have to see there's people sitting at a table on the street. Yes, many people sit on tables on the streets, drinking and enjoying themselves. Sukhumvit, it is a nighttime entertainment zone that falls under Lumpini Police District. Whoa, and there's even more dealers being brought out and packed into the van, and more yet again. I wonder if any of you have kept count of how many dealers have been stuffed into the back of this pickup. Seems like a few more now. Incredible. Yes. Must be full now. Whoops, yes, they've slammed the back door closed. They're clearing the way to take... they've opened the back again. What? They're going to put some more in there? Not enough drug dealers arrested for the night? Wow, they're having a field day. Oh, they are packing more in there. Oh, and there's Kabanka coming out to have a look. An Amica container in the check shirt and the cap. Yes. Obviously, this drugs distribution bar wasn't distributing Amica's drugs or Kabanka's drugs. Because if they were, they wouldn't have been raided. Amica and Kabanka were living up in Udomsuk, which was Frank Lampard's territory. Frank Lampard would send the drugs to the market. And now we've hacked in via the VPN into the upstairs of the bar where they had a pool room. So let's see what was happening. There's the gang of drug dealers, and basically there was so many drug dealers, when a deal happens, it's very confusing. Aha! There's Kabanka. He has entered. And there's Amica. He's run in and he's grabbed someone and dragged them out. And there's Kabanka. And Amica's grabbed more. Amica running around, grabbing dealers left, right, and center. Yes, Amica was a very big boy with big muscles and a very intimidating person. Until he was arrested, of course, and then he was as quiet as a mouse. But that's another story. Yes. Doesn't matter who you are. Kabanka at the pool table there, lifting up his shirt, showing his scars. Yes. We have this showing of the scars to the boys. Yes, these people are into their scarification. They're the boys, the dealers trying to leave. Whoa! And they all have to run back in again because Kabanka says, don't you dare. I haven't finished with you yet. You see? Now, for those wondering, there are so many dealers. Why are they afraid of Kabanka? Well, you saw when he lifted his shirt, he was flashing his scars at them. This is part of his intimidation. It's his way of telling them that I do the witchcraft. And these scars, perhaps they came from a previous drug war. And he wants to take his revenge. Who knows? But it's a bizarre culture. Anyway, now that Amika and Kabanka have done their arrest, there's another picture of Kabanka there. Anyway, there's Kabanka at the table. Whoop! Showing the scar again. Yes. Yes, there's Kabanka in a black cap. Yes. So, now he's cleared the way for a police officer to enter. And the police officer there is in a grey t-shirt and he's checking passports. Yep, you can go. You're all right there. And yes. Now, the thing is, Kabanka probably already planted the drugs. I wonder if any of you spotted that in the earlier scene. Planted them before the officer arrived. There's the officer, he's got his flashlight, he's looking for them. He's looking for a little dime bag that has been put there by Kabanka so that he can arrest them all and make them all guilty. But first of all, let's check some more passports, right? Your passport, not okay, you go there. Stand over there, take some pictures, and here is Kabanka again, hurling his threats. Yes. The rapping drug dealer, famous for his rap videos. It is interesting that many large drug dealers make rap videos. And they like to rap about their drug dealing business too, which is very strange. As if they don't care about the police and they don't care about the law. They would rather be famous or infamous criminals there we see them being arrested. Yes. So these arrests you're seeing now are the arrests of the people that you saw being loaded up into the van earlier. So this shows you our VPN technique and how the DJs at Radio 419 are watching places all over Bangkok. These are IP cameras, so they're connected to the internet, which enables us to watch them remotely and see what's going on. What's the dealers doing their deals? And in some cases, like on this night, there is a police raid. So Radio 419 can also watch the police while they're in action using the VPN technique. Now, these VPN techniques are very advanced. They're so advanced that even agencies like MI5, MI6, CIA, FBI are very useless at using such techniques. They're far too advanced. And if you are a real fan of Radio 419 and keep watching, you will slowly learn why Radio 419 knows the truth and knows what is really happening. Yes. See? Searching the pool hall there. Yes. Kabanka outside. As they gather everything up. Getting drug dealers to sit on the floor. Yes. Ah, dear. So, well, as you're watching, you might be interested as to who are this gang. There they are. There we have the plainclothes policemen searching, trying to find odd little bits of drugs. Yes, this gang is called Anamco. It's named Anamco after the Anambra Criminal Company, which is after the state in Nigeria where the leaders are based. There is Kabanka again enjoying a spliff. Yes. Anyway, back there, and we see the boys all wanting to get out of there as quickly as possible, but obviously the exit is being blocked by Kabanka and Container. Yes. It's even quite shameless that the people that moved the hundreds of kilos of ice around the world, they even sent a container of car parts to Australia packed with methamphetamine. So, flooded Australia, flooded New Zealand. Yes, there were Kiwis coming down to buy briefcases with secret compartments pre-packed with methamphetamine that they could fly back to New Zealand with. Also, Japanese people would come down to this bar to buy methamphetamine to take back to Japan, where they can get over $200,000 per kilo. Not bad, considering you could buy it for $20,000 a kilo if you had the right connections, as Amica was getting it directly from the factories. Yes. Methamphetamine from Guangzhou in China. Methamphetamine from Shan State in Myanmar. Yes. And there we have the police searching for the evidence. Looking for the evidence to put on the pool table. Yes. And if the evidence isn't really in the bar, then Kabanka will drop it there as he always does, setting people up. Yes, there we go. Just a few more searches. Searching people, making sure there's no more funny business. There we go. Some final checks. This video helps you understand why there is so much rivalry and conflict within these gangs. These drug dealers are from eastern Nigeria. There are rival gangs from Anambra, and there are also rival states that compete for the market. After Anambra, there is Imo State, home of the Enugu boys. The Enugu boys are much smaller in number and much softer in behavior, and they would deal in the less popular parts of Bangkok so as to avoid conflict with Anamco. Anamco, being the most powerful gang, took the most lucrative areas of Bangkok, dealing in the Hoi Kwang district for the Chinese clientele, dealing in Khaosan Road for the backpackers, and dealing in Nana for the sexpats and sex tourists. Here we have the plainclothes police just taking the final dealers out of the bar. So it shows you in just one evening, a big roundup. There's Amika Container went down the stairs, making sure, yes, out onto the street. Whoop, whoop, wow. Yes, what was going on there? Never mind. Boop, boop, boop. Fold it up. Boop, in the sock. Boop. Da, da, dee, 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 dee. Whoa! Whoa! Did you ever see them run so fast? So, this is perhaps a little drug deal happened outside, and all the dealers were chased into their little bar. The famous or infamous drugs bar, where people from around the world could go to buy. They could buy a gram, they could buy 100-gram packages, they could buy kilo packages to take back and make business back in their home country. Yes. So here we have the scene outside the bar, taken using the VPN from another camera. So here we're showing you the same raid again and again from different angles, just to give you an idea of the comprehensive way that Radio 419 watches business all over Bangkok to make sure that there is peace on the streets. If there are any murders on the streets and blood spilt, we will see who has done it, and we will catch them very quickly. Again, this video helps viewers understand that law enforcement all over the world should be watching these cameras. Why install them if you're not watching from them? And you should be using the cameras to gather evidence of what is really happening. And then you should be acting on that information. Yes. Now, we see a couple of... Yes, there are deeper in the soy. We have Jackie Bar, which is the black dollar bar for the Liberians. And it seems like there are some Liberians walking up and down, just having a look, seeing what's happening to their Nigerian brothers. Of course, the police are not disturbing the Liberians because the Liberians are not selling drugs. And in fact, they're not committing any crime at the moment. They do most of their black dollar operations during the daytime, when there is mainly traffic police out on the streets. Narcotics and detectives in Bangkok normally come out at night when criminals come out. Yes, there we can see. Yes, you have a little idea as to why they call it Soy Africa or Black Street. As you can see, the other Africans that are not involved in the drug trade are not really fazed or bothered that there's a police raid, because they know that the police have come specifically for drug dealers. There's Kabanka, yes, nipping in and out, yes. Kabanka talking to some of the other boys. that are wondering what he's up to, and he's saying, it's okay. Let me light my cigarette. I've just come down to harass my own brothers, harassing my fellow Nigerians, setting them up. They can hustle them. If they don't pay me and they don't learn that if they want to deal, they should be dealing my drugs and not the drugs of other people. Yes. This is how they compete for their market share. Yes, and there's a gang of people in Kabanka running back in there, probably going in to grab some more. Yes, as you can see, the hustle and bustle out on the street. Kabanka there, yes, having a few words and then nipping in, probably to grab a few more dealers. Like we said, Kabanka doesn't realize that we're watching him using numerous technologies, and the most important are the API for the FBI. Note that the most powerful FBI is not the Federal Bureau of Investigation. It is, in fact, Facebook, Instagram. And ironically, the very, very rapid drug dealers in Bangkok also like to call themselves Instagram. Yes. Anyway, using Instagram and Facebook API helps us to track and monitor these criminals and their activities. Don't blame us criminals. Blame Zuckerberg or Instagram for making this API with a back end to help law enforcement agencies around the world. Mind you, that's the amateur stuff. We can also pick up all the ME numbers from within this location, and then the SIM card numbers, and as with a little help of some Israeli software, we can go even deeper into monitoring their activities. Yes. Now, you're probably wondering about this gang that I mentioned that are dealing the drugs called Anamco. There we are inside again. We've switched cameras. And there is Kabanka Container in the check shirt, the big giant. Yes, he looks small in this. If you see the actual man, yes, he's, about 6'6". He has a baby face. Very strong. There, Kabanka lifted his t-shirt again to show his scars. Very proud of them. It's part of his juju or black magic, as they call it. Yes. Now, usually the boys are quite clean. When they use their soap, they use it until it looks like a SIM card. But unluckily for the police, they don't like to use toothpaste in the morning, and many of them have terrible mouth odors. So bad they could probably awaken Moses and make him add the 11th commandment. Thou shalt brush thy mouth every morning. Ah dear, it's not an easy job being an interrogator when you've been gassed out by some Anamco bad breath, but I guess all occupations have their hazards. Yes. The Anamcos are they're all being hauled out, yes. As I say, we're filming from many different angles using the VPN that I mentioned earlier. So the Anamcos are very famous for numerous things. They don't trust anybody, basically. I mean, you should see them when they go to an ATM machine to remove, you know, $50. And when they take out the money, they'll count it 3 times before walking away from the ATM to make sure that the ATM machine hasn't scammed them. That's how paranoid they are of being scammed. So, anyway, yes, there's also another famous saying in Bangkok. When shaking hands with an Anamco, you should always check to see how many fingers are left remaining on your hand in case they took one. Yes, well, it sounds like a bit of a stupid joke, but then with all this drug dealing going on, and the fact that criminals believe that sacrifices help them, it is very interesting to note that they only like live sacrifices. Even police have to be very, very careful that they don't get kidnapped and slaughtered as sacrifices to the gods. As in Anamco culture, the gods must be offered only living creatures that are sacrificed before them, and they like only the blood. Yes, they're into the adrenochrome. And yes, Anamco do like to kidnap babies. Indeed, there is an Anamco festival once a year where they will search for a baby to kidnap, and if they can't find one, they will try to buy one to offer as a sacrifice to make sure that their drug dealings and scams for the next year go very well. So, if you think it's only Americans that are into that adrenochrome nonsense, no. Their Anamco brothers are into it. It's probably Anamco that taught all this nonsense to these Americans. Very sad. Anyway, I mean, Anamco thieves are very, very amazing. They're amongst the only thieves in the world. When they steal something from you, they'll actually help you look for it and help you try to find it. Yes, yes, very charming behavior. Yes, with their cute little smiles. Here we see it definitely is raining now. And we can, yes, see a Liberian in the background. You know, recognizable by his white t-shirt, blue jeans, and white trainers, typical Anamco get-up. Yes, walking on the streets, drinking beer. And now, let's see, these drug dealers also are taking advantage of the rain. Luckily, the police on this night are not afraid of the rain. As you can see, lots of Africans walking back and forth up and down the street, and they don't care about the raid that is going on because they know that the raid is specifically targeting a specific group of Africans. You have to remember that Africa has many, 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 many countries, and most of those countries do not involve themselves in crime and simply do honest businesses. Many of them are in textile business, shoes business, exporting goods back to Africa with competitive prices that they get from Thailand, and Thailand also offering higher quality than many other Asian countries. So, here we're watching. You're probably all wondering about what type of VPN that Radio 419 megahertz is using. Yes, it's not the type of VPN that you know. It's a very, very special one. If viewers are really interested in the mechanics of this technology, perhaps I can make a video about it in the future. So, yes, these drug dealers down in Nana, just at the mouth of the Soy, there are many prostitutes walking along, both male prostitutes and female. And interestingly enough, the African prostitutes, if they're female, they sadly often get, between $20 to $60 a night. But the males are often getting $300 a night. And so African males are the most expensive prostitutes in Bangkok and very popular with the cougars. Here we have the paddy wagon coming in to collect the drug dealers. Yes, we see the plainclothes officer out there as we watch via our VPN. There he moves there. There the first dealer's coming, second batch coming, being loaded up into the truck. There they go, running back in. There's Kabanka again. Yes. He likes playing with his hands in his pockets all the time, Kabanka. Very strange chap indeed. So, anyway, what's the difference between a drug dealer and a prostitute? Well, a prostitute, she can wash her crack and reuse it again, and the drug dealers can't. Anyway, enough of this nonsense. Let's see, how many have they loaded up already? Must be a dozen. It's really amazing how many dealers you can fit in the back. There's another couple being loaded up. I need to try and give you many angles in order to calculate exactly how many were loaded up into this truck on that faithful night. Yes, so these cougars that come to Bangkok, they used to go to places like Kenya, but now the Aussie women and the English women that fancy a little bit of the Lion King in bed for the night are coming to Bangkok, where they find a very good choice in very friendly surroundings, also with a supply of drugs, should they wish. Yes, more dealers been loaded up there. And it's quite ironic. The Anamkos, they call the cougars Karens, which is a very interesting word for them. And it's very strange that these Karens, as they call them, enjoy going off to sleep with them. Because in Africa, they have a very famous saying, when sleeping with an Namco man, sleep with one eye open. Yes, obviously the Karens are not afraid of the Anamkos. So, also in a lot of Africa, African men do not perform the linguus on the cunny, whereas Anamco are infamous for superb cunnilingus, as they call it. And that makes them even more popular. So, here we have more video where, yes, there's Kabanka sucking away on his cigarette. Yes. And here we see, yes, you can hear the heavy rain. Yes. Yeah. Oh. You see, they're filming each other. Yes, Kabanka doesn't like being filmed, and he doesn't realize that Radio 419 is watching him from several cameras. Yes. Yes. She's calling the police and informing them that Kabanka the troublemaker is bringing his police officers to harass the drug dealers. So these are the drug wars, and very interestingly, if you watch carefully, Kabanka is a nasty piece of work, because actually he's trying to humiliate the police and embarrass them too. If ever you saw the TV series Gomorrah, episode 3, it will give you some idea of the type of person Kabanka is and what he's actually up to in this scene. Yes. So as you can see, when you use this type of VPN, not only can you access CCTV cameras, once you have the ME numbers, the SIM card numbers, and people are video recording and they don't realize about the back doors that exist in most brands of telephone, that you can also access their cameras, especially if they're using them, and you can watch while they're filming, which is very convenient. Yes. So that was it, I guess. Down in Blackstreet. The quiet after the storm, after the dealers have been hauled away by the police with the aid of BKK Container, the international drug shipment man himself. Ironically, BKK Container was the left-hand man of Kudos, but Kudos pretended that BKK was his enemy in order to penetrate the Nigerian embassy. Here we see Kabanka spliffing away.
มันไม่ผิดนะถามวิ่งทำไมเห็นไหม
ไม่ใช่ค่ะ
Here's the policeman. He's asking them, if you're all innocent, how comes you all ran like hell as soon as you saw me? Yes, he's got a very good point there. Why did they all run? And it was only Anamco that started running, whilst the other Africans just stood and watched. So if there's hundreds of Africans and you want to see who are the Anamcos, they're the ones that are running. There we see them being loaded up again. Yes, nice shot there. You see them climbing into the back of the pickup. Yes, been rammed in there with a baseball bat by the guy in the yellow t-shirt. There's more coming out in handcuffs. So they use one pair of handcuffs for 2 people. Not enough handcuffs to have a pair each. And also it stops them from running away. If they run away with your handcuffs, then you've lost your handcuffs too. Not nice if they were expensive handcuffs. And they should be expensive handcuffs, because if you use cheap handcuffs, well then Anamco will often snap them as if they were just little pieces of ribbon, using their powerful Anamco muscles. Yes, now here we just see some still shots. Yes, from the evening that night. Radio 419 signing out. Good night.